Welcome to my new home, Frank.
Vlad, once again you've gone too far. The pain you've caused, the homes you've destroyed, the lives you've taken. It all ends now.
Not without a fight.
I think that we had gotten just about everything into the original base game that we had wanted to. I think survival mode was really the only thing that sort of was left on the cutting room floor. It was something that we didn't even really have planned as part of the original game, but we knew that the game needed some kind of, like infinite, like end game part of it. Yeah, we had completed basically everything we wanted, and then Microsoft kind of waited to see how it did, to see how the reviews were, and then they greenlit a DLC pack, and they kind of just let us do whatever we wanted to, which was awesome. And the moon came up, just because why not, the moon, and I love the idea of like supervillains wanting to steal the moon, and I don't know. So we had talked about lunar missions and doing that, because that sort of fits with the accelerated timeline of the fiction of Trench. It's like we went to the moon in the 60s. It's that's not too far off of the accelerated sort of technology curve. So we started talking about that. Can you remember where it came from actually? We were talking about, was it Tim? Yeah, I think it was Tim. Where we were he was like the moon. He's like, why the moon? Why not Mars? And I think he was joking. I think he was absolutely joking when he said it. And we just sort of latched onto it, because the other bonus is that it's such a manly game. We try to play out the manliness of it, and it's some people didn't quite get that. It's really satire on the ridiculous sort of manliness of games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. So we were like that's totally perfect. That's totally perfect to go to Mars, because it's the manliest planet that you could go to. So we're like, hell yes, it has to be Mars. And then the thing that really sold me on it though was talking with Jeff Solis, lead artist. He was like, yeah, it has to be fantastical Mars. It can't be just what Mars actually is. It has to be what people thought Mars was like in the 40s and 50s or whatever, because it was just such a mystery. It had to be this weird alien planet with weird plants and all sorts of crazy on it. So he gathered a bunch of reference material, and he started just doing some concepts in the early stages of all these weird plants and sort of landscapes and stuff, and it's just awesome. But yeah, I think that was the genesis of the Martian bear. It's somewhat complex, but there's the bear. There's the whole bear part of the equation. I really didn't want to, we killed Vlad. You see his weird spoilers, but you actually see in the final shot his weird sort of shriveled baby body that's been his little man baby body. And that was just part of the weird fiction that we were developing, where with Woodruff, he gets hit by the broadcast and it sort of accelerates his aging process, and he's sort of older and confined to the iron lung. But with Vlad, it sort of reversed the aging process on him and sort of shrunk him into this weird man baby, and he's dead. So I really didn't want to do we just bring him back from the grave somehow, and he's alive again. You didn't actually kill him or something. So we talked about I really liked the concept of downloading your consciousness into the matrix, into the into computers and stuff. But we talked about what he could actually put his body into. And so we talked about different Monovision things and different robots and whatever, but eventually it came down people just started throwing out animal ideas, and I really like the concept of it being a weird Russian circus bear. I just feel that melded so well with Vlad, just that, oh, of course he has a pet. He totally has a pet bear that he just keeps. His name is Boris. And from there, the idea just got more and more ridiculous. Jeremy Natividad, he's one of the artists on the game, and he was tasked with actually he had done the 2D renderings of Vlad that show up on the TVs. So he's all in those very dictatory poses, all that stuff. And I was like, okay, we really need the bear to be doing the exact same poses, and then on the monovisions that are implanted on the bear, we'll have to, just take the old image, slap it right on there. And he just went to town. And it was actually, as he was doing it, he showed me some of his first stuff, and I was like, that is awesome. I was like, but the bear needs a mustache. It's take Vlad's mustache, put it on there, And then like he did that, and it just like that's it. That's the Martian bear, clearly. The first mission that you play in the DLC, which is it's actually not on Mars. So I think that, you know, not changing the scenery so drastically, it takes place like in the swamp where they're prepping the McKinley, the big ship, to take off into space. And then we just tried to go a little bit easier on the difficulty. Like, we definitely amped up, like, you're facing the next sort of tier of enemies, so they're a lot tougher. But overall, we were gentler with the scripting, I think, on the swamp mission. Yeah, we try to, in that first mission, like, really ease you into it with, like yeah, we just don't go for the throat right away in it. Some of the feedback that we got from the fans, I mean, one of the biggest ones was just people wanted an end game, you know, and the most obvious end game for the type of game that we made is like a survival mode, like an infinite mode. So that was something that we had wanted to add anyway, and hearing that echoed from the people who were liking the game, that was just like a slam dunk. That was just a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, it's really just more of everything, I think, is what people were wanting. We heard some radical ideas. PvP came up quite a bit, actually, with fans. But I feel like there are so many games that do PvP correctly, sort of as their like main focus. And I really wanted this to, I didn't want to spend the resources on like a PvP mode when the original sort of game mechanics are not built for it. Felt like there's more need for more of the PvE co-op content, and that wasn't something we were like interested in doing. It'll be out when it's done. That's when you can play it, when we're finished with it, and you can buy it. What do you think? But yeah, the Iron Brigade name change is November 30th. I don't know if this is gonna be out before then. No promises on dates though. I don't want the internet to hate me any more than they already do.